How do you identify someone in your school to step up and take this role?
Okay, I love that question. I want to tell a little story. One of our former directors, Jason, I think we talked about him in an early episode for the season, when we talked about how to increase enrollment quickly. Anyways, Jason was our band director for years, became a really close friend. We stay in touch. We just had lunch and we went on a long walk together about a week ago. Now, on that walk, I was like, hey, dude, I'm about to hire a new band director. We're about to start the search, right? And we're going to bring someone on to direct the department. And I'm wondering if you could summarize, in hindsight, what are the most important responsibilities for you as a band director, right? What do you remember being essential? Like, if you were to strip away everything else, this is the thing that you had to bring to the table to succeed as a band director. And so I'm going to read you, because I literally just wrote it in my Evernote after he shared it. And I was like, dude, I got to write this down because it's just money in the bank.
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, he said, first of all, you are the parent curriculum communicator. We can hashtag that sucker, the parent curriculum communicator and troubleshooter when there are parent issues, right? When the parent needs someone other than the teacher or an administrator to talk to, you're the person. Secondly, you're real-time support for the teacher in the classroom, right? He said you can't take for granted that a teacher is going to come in and know classroom management out of the gate. Sure, sometimes you're going to hire a classroom teacher that's going to have great management skills, et cetera. But he's like, that was one of the first things that he realized as director. And he was a mentor. He went in to classrooms all the time to support other teachers who had issues. They had a student that they just didn't know how to redirect in a positive way, right? So you're either helping with management issues, or you're helping with curriculum issues for the teachers. Secondly, you're essentially the monthly teacher training for the stages of development in that program. So in his case, he's like, in the band program, you had a 4-year-old who came into mini keys. Then they graduated as a 6-year-old to jam band. Then they graduated as an 8-year-old into our rock, write, and record program. As the director, you're the one who clearly defines for the teachers what it looks like for a mini key to finish year 1, year 2, jam band 101 or to year 1 and year 2. You have to just constantly hammer that message. This is where your students will be in a year. Where your students will be in 2 years. And then the third and final thing is like, honestly, it's just accountability. You're constantly reminding the teachers of the mile markers.
Wow.
This is where you're going to be in 6 months. This is where you're going to be in 3 months, 1 month. Here we are. How'd you do? So that's it. That's the entire Evernote.
So this might feel a little bit off topic, but in the greater context of what you're talking about here, something's really occurring to me. I often hear, and this is more true of school owners who are kind of at the beginning of their journey, or they haven't really grown the school to a large size yet. Well, why would a teacher want to work for me? Why wouldn't they just go out and teach on their own? In hearing what you just said about Jason, or what his comments were, how could Jason do that alone? This actually betrays a perspective change that needs to happen in that school owner so that they actually can grow to a large size. It betrays the idea that, oh, I think I'm just delivering lessons. I'm delivering instruction. No, what Jason's getting in that role is something he can never get alone, which is in leading that department, he's actually leading a team of people who have a vision for how a whole group of kids are going to going to progress in their musical journey, and he has support and team around him to do things so that he can focus solely on a few really critical roles in the school versus the solopreneur teacher, the by themselves teacher that has to handle all those roles themselves. And I think the perspective that needs to change if someone wants to grow is that if you give someone a limited number of tasks and roles to fulfill, they're going to have so much more focus and drive and energy to execute on those things. It's very clear that Jason really owned that role, and from the sounds of it, did a really good job in it. But he could never have done that on his own. He needed all those people around him.
Yeah, and it's really wise. And I think the hesitancy that I hear, or we hear often in owners that have smaller programs, is the idea that if I bring someone on, number one, I'll have to invest resources, and I'm nervous about investing dollars into someone. And number two, I'm nervous that it's just going to make even more work for me because now I have to manage a director, right?
Yeah.
And so you're highlighting this essential point, which there's got to be a mindset shift. If you want to grow your school and you want to grow your school into a sustainable model, right? You don't want to just grow rapidly and then be freaking out working 70-hour weeks, right? You want to grow into a model that is energizing and sustainable for you. Then you're going to have to make that shift that you're not going to do it alone. You are going to bring on some others. And when you bring on those others, the two of you, let's say you bring on just one other director. Let's say you bring on a private lesson director. You're going to just act as CEO founder and you're going to bring on a private lesson director. The two of you are going to invest a solid year into discovering how to define as clearly as Jason and I did, what that director role is going to look like for your program.